You ever notice how an app like, say, Netflix or Airbnb just feels right? Whether you're on your phone, your tablet, or your laptop, it's the same seamless experience. Well, that's not magic, and it's not an accident. It's actually a really brilliant strategy called cross-platform development. So let's pull back the curtain and see what's powering the apps we use every day.
Right, let's start with that big question. Why do they feel so consistent? It's something we totally take for granted now, but believe me, getting that smooth experience on every single one of your devices used to be a gigantic headache for developers. The answer? Well, it's a whole new way of thinking about how software gets built. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. Look at the left. That's the old way. You'd have to build one app for iPhones, a totally separate one for Android, and then another one for the web. That's 3 teams, 3 different piles of code, 3 times the work. Now, look at the right. That's the new way. One single, unified codebase that powers the app everywhere. The whole game changed when we went from fragmented to unified.
But to really appreciate how amazing this solution is, we have to look back at the problem it was designed to solve. And honestly, it was a huge, expensive nightmare for any company that wanted to be on all the devices you and I use.
Yeah, the old school way, what they call the native approach, meant building an app from the ground up for each platform. It was just so inefficient. Think of it like this. Instead of building one awesome house with a smart design, you're forced to build 3 separate houses, each with its own architect and its own construction crew. And you can just imagine the chaos. You needed a whole team just for the iPhone app, another team of Android experts, and then your web people. You're juggling all these different technologies, which of course sends costs through the roof. And the worst part for us, the users, if there was a bug, they'd have to fix it 3 different times. That's why updates would take forever, and the app would feel different and broken in different places. So frustrating.
Okay, but out of all that complexity, a really elegant solution started to emerge. And the whole idea is summed up right there in the subtitle. Write code once, run it everywhere.
So what does that actually mean? Well, cross-platform development is basically a strategy where developers can write their code just one time, and that single code base can then be used to create an app that runs beautifully on iOS, on Android, on the web, you name it.
Let's just pause on that for a second. One team, one programming language, one code base to run the app on every single device you own. This isn't just a small improvement, it's a total game changer for everyone, from the smallest startups to the biggest companies in the world.
So how does this actually play out in the real world? It's not just about slamming out some code and calling it a day. There's a really smart, structured process behind it to make sure everything works perfectly. Let's take a look at the blueprint. See, it all starts with strategy. You gotta know your goals. Then you move into design, figuring out how to make the app look and feel great on a tiny phone screen and a big computer monitor. Step 3, that's the magic, the unified development, where that single code base is built. But you can't just assume it works. That's step 4, and it's so important, testing. You test it on everything to find and squash all the little bugs. And only then do you get to step 5, deploying it to the world and keeping it updated.
And the payoff for all that careful planning is huge. You get better apps that just work, and you get them into people's hands way faster. In today's world, being first and being fast, well, that's a massive advantage.
Okay, now we get to the real why. Why are so many smart companies jumping on this train? Well, the business case for it is just incredibly strong. First up, and this is the big one, is code reusability. I mean, just think about it. Instead of your developers writing the code for the login screen 3 different times, they write it once. That one piece of code gets shared everywhere. The amount of time and energy that saves is just enormous.
And that reusability leads right into the next huge win. You can move so much faster. Since you're only working on one code base, when a new feature is ready, you can push it out to everyone. iPhone users, Android users, everyone, all at the same time. No more of that "why does my friend have the new update and I don't" nonsense.
And of course, the one that makes the accountants happy, it costs way, way less. You don't need those huge separate teams we talked about before. You're not paying to maintain 3 different sets of technology. A single fix can solve a problem for all your users. It just all adds up to some serious savings.
So let's just run through the highlights one more time. You get that amazing code reusability and lower costs. You can reach a way bigger audience from day one. Maintenance is so much simpler, and with modern tools, the performance feels just as snappy as a native app. I mean, it's really a win-win-win-win.
Now, this isn't just some abstract idea for tech nerds. This stuff is the engine running behind the scenes in so many of the services you and I use every single day. Let's look at a few examples.
Take a look at this. It's wild. In healthcare, it's powering the app you use to talk to your doctor. In finance, it's running your mobile banking and stock trading apps. When you're shopping online, it's what keeps your shopping cart synced up between your phone and your laptop. It is truly everywhere.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. Here's a quote from Jason, the CEO of a company called Park. He says it delivered a quality solution good enough for investors and stable enough for real users. That's the goal, right? To build something that is both professional and reliable.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought. We've seen how one single codebase can totally transform how we build apps, bringing this amazing sense of unity and efficiency to our digital lives. It really makes you wonder, if that principle of unification is so powerful for our software, where else could we apply it? What other complex things in our world could be brought together with a single elegant solution? Something to think about.